All right, welcome everyone to our first live. And today happens to be Halloween. So, for those of you that celebrate, happy Halloween. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Today is going to be our first live and our first Q&A. So, any questions you might have, put a Q in front of it, drop it in the comments. We're going to go through a recap of the previous videos, and in between the sections, so network at the end, we'll look at some of the questions if there are any, and we'll try to answer them for you. Remember, this is basic information, so we're not going to get into subnetting and all this high-end stuff with networking. So let's go ahead and move to the presentation. So network basics, internet speed. So in the first video, we talked about internet speeds. We talked about the upload and download. So I grabbed this from the website. This is from Restream, and this is going to give you a better idea of what I was trying to explain. So if you look at this, 720p at 30 frames per second. If you're not familiar with that, we're going to discuss video rate and frame rate and stuff like that in future videos. But 720/30, they're recommending you need a 35 to 40% buffer. So you're looking at 5.7 meg. So when you start doing your speed test, and if you don't have at least, and I'm going to round that up, if you don't have at least 6, you're going to have problems with 720/30. And a lot of people out there, right off the top, they want to do 4K or something like that, especially Ustream that could do that. You need to do the math. I'm just letting you know right now. So if you look here, they start getting into more details. Now, the link to this is going to be in the description below for you to read the entire article. We're just going to kind of skim through some of this information. So if you notice, now they're talking about 720 at 60 frames. Now you need even more. Now you're looking at 6.2. Then you go into, where is it? They start talking about 1080 by 60, needing 7.4 megabits. 4K at 60, you're looking at 68.8. Let's just say 70. So right now, just to let you know, I have 10 meg up, because this is all upload speed. And I'm streaming at 1080 at 60. So according to this math, I should be fine. Here's a larger breakdown. And again, I'm not going to go through every little one of these. I'm just putting this out there for you. So you can see they're breaking it down between 720 and 30, 720 and 60. And they're giving you roughly, the low end and the high end. You're going to want to be at the high end, because you don't want to have issues. So I'm going to say that now. You want to be at the high end. And that's it for the cables. The internet speed. Remember, this is live, so there's going to be some mistakes. It's my first live, other than just playing around. So expect some mistakes for now. And it just all disappeared. What happened? Let me take a quick look. What just happened here? See, technical issues. Give me 1 second to make sure we are. So let me stop it and restart it. Doesn't matter how many times you practice and try to prepare. All right, so the app is back. Give me a second to bring everything back up. And here we are. Now I'm in IT, so the way we fix everything is just to turn it off and turn it on again. But not power off and power on. Just restart when you're talking about your computer. So that's it for internet speed. Let's start talking a little bit about routers. So Comcast uses a lot of these. This is your internet service provider's modem/router. Depending on what you're trying to do, depending on the size of your location, this is fine if it's installed centrally in your location. A lot of places I've been to, and again, I'm in IT, I've been into a lot of company locations, I've been in a lot of residential locations owned by the company, and sometimes you'll find these in the basement, sometimes you find them in the first floor in the front of the house, sometimes in the back of the house. So remember, your signal is going around this box. So if it's at the back of the house, you're bleeding into the back of your house. So if that's your backyard and you want to be in your backyard, that's good. But that's going to make the front of your house suffer and your front yard suffer depending on the size of your property. So in a perfect scenario, your network is recommended to be as central as possible. So keep that in mind. These might be rated for up to maybe 1,200 square feet. I don't know the exact numbers. Again, we're trying to keep things basic. These are fine. Not the greatest, depending on, again, do you want to, video conference or stream from your yard, whether it's the front or the back. It all depends. It depends on your actual situation. Now we're going to briefly talk about a mesh network. The Google Wi-Fi, I believe they changed the name now with the newer ones to Nest Wi-Fi or Nest Home Wi-Fi. I've installed several of these. If I had to take a guess, 30 or so. They're not bad. They're okay. But just keep in mind, the first one needs to be plugged into your modem. That's the one that's going to get the most signal, the best connection. It's going to wirelessly connect to the second one. Let's say you have in the first floor, the first one's in the basement. But depending on the distance between them and the fact that it's wirelessly doing it, it's going to downshift your total speed if your devices connect to the second one. And then the same with the third one. So you are going to be dealing when you're dealing with wirelessly connecting networks, you're going to be dealing with lower speeds in general. And then here's the one I like. I call these the modular networks, because you could build on these. You could build them up wired or wirelessly. They're very flexible. So this unit right here, this is the Unified Dream Machine, not the Pro, just a Dream Machine. And if you look at the top, that's your wireless access point. You got a switch in there. Now, most people are going to see this and they're going to be like, well, that looks like pretty much the same thing that you could do with the internet service provider or something you could get from Best Buy. These are not corporate made. In a corporate setting, you want everything separate. You're going to have a separate access point. You're going to have a separate switch. They designed this to be like a one device do all. So this does everything just like a router you would get from Best Buy. But this you could add to it. And these are very powerful. I've installed these alone in a house, and even the basement and everything was getting Wi-Fi. So these are powerful compared to your average router that you get. And let's go here just to give you an idea. And I know the picture looks small. This is my network. So I use unified equipment, but I don't use that router. I use the Unified Dream Machine Pro. So it's a separate machine. It does not have built-in wireless Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So I have to add devices. So if you could look at this picture here, you can see I have multiple devices because I prefer to wire everything I can. So I have switches. My home is multi-level. So I have a first floor, second floor, a partial basement. Then I have what's called a breezeway, which is basically a hallway that connects to my garage. Now, I have devices that require Wi-Fi that are all the way by my garage, like security cameras and stuff like that. So it's important that you have a good connection to your internet, to your Wi-Fi, when you're dealing with a lot of devices and you're dealing with distance. And if you notice, one of them has empty, says temp AP. That's what I mean by it's modular. You could add things, you could remove things. So I did a test broadcast in my backyard, and to make sure I had Wi-Fi connectivity in my backyard, I added another Wi-Fi access point, and I actually installed it temporarily on my porch in the back of the house. So you could do a lot with a modular setup. And that's it for routers. It's a quiet day. I did not expect much on the first day, but you know, it if you have questions, this is the day to show up. Every Sunday at the end of the month, I'm going to do a live to go over some of the videos and to answer any questions. So if you do have questions, these are the days to show up. Cables. You got Cat 5e, Cat 6, Cat 6a, and so on and so on. So let's touch a little bit on cables. So I found this on a website, and I made one little correction because I just want to make sure everyone knows. If you could even find Cat 5 cabling, Cat 5 is not Cat 5e. So Cat 5e is 1 gig up to 100 meters, not Cat 5. So I just wanted to make that distinction. So Cat 5e could do a gig. Cat 6 could do up to 10 gigs for a part of that distance. They're saying it's 55 meters. I don't know the conversion to feet. But, you know, after that, it downshifts to a gig. Cat 6a could do 10 gig for the entire length. Cat 7 can do 10 gig for the entire length, but I found out it could do extremely high speeds for the first, I want to say it was 15 meters. And again, I don't know the conversion to feet off the top of my head. Long story short, if you have Cat 5e already, you should be fine. If you're upgrading, personally, Cat 5a, I would say is the best way to go. How you doing, Cindy? Let's bring you up there real good. And buongiorno. Hopefully I said that right. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, Cat 7, you got to go Cat 7. Cat 7's overkill. If you want to spend the extra few bucks on it, I don't even know how much Cat 7 cables cost. That's your personal preference. If you have Cat 5e, if you have Cat 6, if you have Cat 6a, whether it's a patch cable or a full run throughout your entire house, all of those will work. Cindy, I'm sorry. I apologize. Cindy. I'm seeing things on the corner of my eye sometimes. I'm just getting used to a lot of this stuff as well. I do apologize for the name. Okay. So yeah, so Cat 6A, if you're getting anything new, it's more than enough. And that's going to be it for the recap. Come back up here. So that is a recap of the previous videos. I did not see any questions, so there are no questions to ask. Again, I'm going to put out some videos during the month, and then the last Sunday of every month, I plan on going live to do kind of a recap and to answer any questions if anyone has any. But yeah, so the next few videos, I am going to be touching on hardware. So we're going to talk about some basics on computers, cameras, lighting. After that, we'll go into software. Uh, just to let you know, what I have been using today is ECAMM, and this is a software for Mac. So everything that I've been doing with the transitioning, with the PowerPoint, all that stuff, everything you've been seeing, the beginning intro, this is all being done through ECAMM. So the descriptions are below, links are below to some of the stuff that we're talking about, to ECAMM. There is affiliate link if you're interested. Keep in mind, ECAMM Live is Mac only. So if you have a Mac, if you're interested in software for broadcasting, to put lower thirds, to put up videos, to put up presentations, ECAMM to me is the way to go when it comes to Mac. Again, in future videos, we will be talking about software, so not just ECAMM, but there are other softwares. There's even stuff that's web-based, so you don't have to download anything to your computers, like Restream and other software out there. So that's going to be it for today. Hopefully you guys have learned something. If not here on live and the replay, again, just throwing some basic information out there to hopefully help everyone have a little bit more understanding of what is necessary to do some streaming or even video conferencing. If you're at your job using Zoom for your video conferencing and you're doing Zoom from home and you're wondering why your quality of your stream is having issues, or why you can't, why Zoom doesn't even work half the time, you might want to look into some of these things we just talked about. Your upload speed, your connection to your internet, all that plays in. So that's going to be it for today. Hopefully I will see you guys next month, and please continue to watch the videos. If you want to subscribe, ring the bell, that way you get notified, and I will catch you next month. Take care.